Belief. Have your beliefs changed since you were a child? Yeah, that's the question I'm starting off with. Has your beliefs changed since you were a child? Think about that real quick. When you're a child, you believe a whole bunch of different things, right? Because you have no experience on nothing. You're just basing everything on what the older people around you tell you, right? What your mother says, father says, grandma, whoever, people in school, you know what I mean? That's where your whole world is shaped based on that, because you have no experience of nothing or knowledge of anything. So have your beliefs changed since you were a child? Like, yeah, sometimes that's a stupid question, bro. No, think about it. How many of y'all out there still believe in the Easter Bunny? Yeah, do you still believe in the Easter Bunny? It's funny. Why even a bunny? That's a whole different thing. How many of you still believe in Santa Claus? Or the Tooth Fairy? Right? Like, what? Why? Why would I believe in those things? Of course I don't believe in those things. Why don't you believe in Santa Claus anymore? Or the Tooth Fairy? Why not? You've grown. You've experienced particular things. You come to your own truths, right? What about Jesus? What about Jesus? What about Allah? You know? What about His Imperial Majesty? No, it's very different. What about that? Has your idea or your beliefs regarding these particular things changed as well? Or have they remained the same? I'm talking about from you being a child until now, like however old you are. Have your beliefs changed with these other figures as well? The afterlife. The afterlife. Like, what are your thoughts on that right there? You know, when you go into church, when you're little and you're going to church and stuff like that, and the pastor tells you this or your imam tells you this, like, yeah, you believe all that stuff. Of course you're going to believe it. Believe it. But now, going through life, seeing what life is about, the different the highs, the lows, the chaos, you know, the lies that you're being told. You know, a lot of people still have belief in what? The government. Or has that changed? Or has the whole COVID thing rocked your belief on the government or the trust that you have in the government? But more on the afterlife. Who is around? Who can tell you what happens after they die? Who? Who? Give me a name. Give me a name. Give me a name. Your imam? The father in your church? The pastor? The pastor knows what happens when you die, right? Right? So let me get this right. The pastor or the father that is still here in this physical existence is telling you what happens when you die. And you believe it, right? Well, what's the first thing you got to question? How the fuck do you know you're still here? Anybody that tells you about what happens after you die is lying. It's lying. They're lying. Because you know what? They don't know. Nobody that's still here in this physical realm knows what happened after you die. But you still believe it, right? You still believe it. Hey, yeah. You know. Belief. I think we got to get to a point where we stop dealing with belief and we question what we believe in. Question what you believe in. You know what I mean? And you have to compile your information, your experiences, and the knowledge that you have, and come to your own understanding of whatever it is. This is not here to knock what anybody believes in, but it's to question. You know, it's like we've come so far. We've come so far, and still we're not close enough. As a child, we're told stories. We're told bedtime stories and different things like that. And, you know, your parent is reading the bedtime story to you, and you're loving it. You know, that bedtime story helps you drift off into sleep. But are you not aware, or have you not realized that we're still getting told bedtime stories as adults, and you still believe these fucking bedtime stories? You know what I mean? The Bible is a collection of stories. How true? Some true, maybe, I don't know. Whatever the case, you could pull particular truths from that. You know what I mean? It's the best, one of the best selling books ever, right? The Bible, because we just love stories. You know, we love hearing these stories. Stories. How true are they? I have no idea. It's deep. It's deep when I start talking about particular things that goes against the popular demand, what the masses think. You know, if I start talking about HARP and, weather changing devices and stuff like that, you label me as a conspiracy theorist. And I say, oh, Sematawika's crazy. He believes in this shit. Oh, he's out of here. Get him out of here. But then if I go into the Bible and stuff like that, and I read stories about Jesus turning water into wine and walking on water and stuff like that, if I try to do that right now myself, people say, hey, you're fucking crazy. But no, but it was accepted back then. Like, right, I could read it in the book and like, yeah, but Jesus walked on water. Jesus separated the Red Sea and he went through, and yes, brother, this and this. Yeah, that's a great story. Have you tried that yourself? Have you tried a lot of these things like in the Bible that we hold up so dear, like, oh, like you read that shit and like it'll make a great movie. It'll make a great movie. It's really entertaining. But like, when do you really just start like to question that, or just stop believing that? If you're still believing in the same thing from when you were a child, this is an issue. You know what I mean? So you could clump all that into the same thing. Clump your belief of the Easter Bunny, the boogeyman, Santa Claus, Jesus, and all. You could clump those all together. You know what I mean? You could hold dear to the particular principles, principles and you know, the different ethical codes and stuff like that, moral codes that is in your religion, right? You can hold that without getting caught up in a lot of these stories. I could be a Christian. I could be a Christian and hold true to the commandments and all that without believing in a lot of these stories, though. Walking on water, separating the Red Sea. If, like, those are miracles, right? Those are miracles, right? But none of those miracles have happened again, right? It's deep that we as adults are like, yo, we don't believe in miracles. Yeah, miracles, that doesn't happen. But when it comes to the Bible or your Quran, your holy books, it's like, yeah. And Kemet as well. Kemet is now out of this as well. Kemet as well. For all of my Kemet heads, you know, Asar, Aset, Hebrew, yeah, it's still a story. It's still a story. Are you here believing that that like Heru really has the head of a falcon, or you know what I mean, or whatever, or all these things, the stories. For me in particular, that's a particular story that I like. It's a story that I like. I don't really think or believe in myself that when my physical existence leaves here, my heart is going to get put on a scale with a feather, and it's going to be weighed, and what's going to happen there? You know, no, I don't believe that shit. I don't. At one particular time, yes, I did. I did. But that's not even of any importance, really and truly. But it's the particular codes, the principles that allows me to have a particular type of moral compass. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's such a wild thing when it comes to belief. You throw away all these things when you're a child. You stop believing in these things. Oh yeah, oh that's made up. That's fairy tales. That's made up. That's fairy tales. That's stories. But then you have no problem believing in these ancient fairy tales, and you hold them up. Like Jesus. Like, yo, it's deep. Like, alcohol is really, it's really what? It's really the drug of choice, right? Because it's accepted. It's accepted in religion. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Jesus, look what Jesus did. Jesus turned water. Damn, I'm gonna have to cut this because I gotta move. But Jesus turned water into wine. Water, the water that's essential, water that we're made of. This motherfucker turned that shit into wine. And he's not an alcoholic. There's nothing wrong with that. Why did you need that? Why couldn't you just make an abundance of water? Why wouldn't he just give more water? No, let's go. Nah, hold on. This party ain't done yet. Let's go ahead and change this thing into wine. Blah. Yep, there you go. There's some more wine. Keep the party going. Keep the party going. So yeah. So I understand if your Messiah is an alky, you know what I mean? I understand it's acceptable for you to consume large amounts of alcohol all the time. But then me with burning my herb, my marijuana, I'm the devil, I'm the demon. Yo, belief is a funny thing. Belief is a funny thing. But we're going to carry on this conversation. I got a session to tend to. But I just wanted to get that off my chest real quick. Put that out there in the ethers. You know. And, yeah. For another time. Peace.